You are what you eat, and what you drink, and what you smoke, and what you surround yourself with. I think we don't realize how much what we put in our bodies, how we take care of ourselves, affects not only our physical health and well-being, but our emotional health and well-being. If we treat ourselves like crap, if we are over drinking, over smoking, overeating, not exercising, not getting enough rest, all of these things have massive implications to our emotional health. And it can be avoided by learning to take care of yourself. But the problem is, so many of us have shame around it. I know I did. I'm Matt Gerlach, and welcome to Matters of the Mind, Rise to Your Worth. I work with high achievers just like you who privately battle with shame, anxiety, and burnout. Create a second half of your life that is filled with fulfillment, alignment, and abundance. Now, who wouldn't want that? About 8 years ago, my life started sending me wake-up calls, and I listened. I was having panic attacks. I had a couple of visits to the hospital thinking I was dying of a heart attack. And I believe that our life will continue to speak to us until the disruptions get loud enough that we have to listen. I had to listen. I don't doubt that there were wake-up calls that were happening before this, but I couldn't hear them. I wasn't paying attention. I ignored them because change was too uncomfortable. It seemed too impossible. I hit my rock bottom moment. These panic attacks debilitated me. I couldn't drive. I was scared of everything. My anxiety was off the charts, and it got so disruptive that I finally did something. I went on a healing journey. I started doing yoga. I started working out. I learned to take better care of myself. And I had to talk about my reliance on substances like marijuana and alcohol and cigarettes that I was using, quite frankly, to cope to get through the day. It was a journey. I wish I could say that it was easier. And knowing what I know now, the biggest thing that was holding me back was shame. I never knew that other people were struggling with this. I thought it was my fault that I was smoking and drinking and overeating and that I couldn't help myself. And don't get me wrong, I was doing it to myself. I was puffing, I was drinking, I was eating, I was setting myself up for less than optimal success. But I learned I was doing the best that I could. My drinking and smoking cigarettes and reliance on marijuana never really got crazy out of hand. They were certainly not good for my health, and they weren't setting me up for optimal success. But it wasn't like I hit a rock bottom where they disrupted my life entirely, which quite honestly made it even more difficult to look at how I was treating my body and what I was putting in my body. Underneath everything, I was so shameful for what I was doing to myself. I thought something was wrong with me for using substances to cope. I thought something was wrong with me that I couldn't go to the gym some days because my body was hurting or because I was hurting. I couldn't sleep sometimes because I was so worried and anxious all the time. And I thought it was my fault. I thought that I just needed to man up and get through it. And what I learned over a very painfully long period of working with doctors and therapists, and quite honestly, talking to friends and mentors, and just now that I'm coaching and talking to other people, we're all struggling with this. None of us are treating our bodies perfectly. And even those who are enviably treating their bodies better than you and I might be, we all still could be doing better. And that's the human condition. We're all imperfect, and we are just doing the best we can. And it's my job, it's your job to just continue to try to do better. I was so shameful about this. I thought something was wrong with me, and I hid. I didn't want to let people know that I was failing myself. I knew that when I was drinking, I was feeling worse on Mondays and Tuesdays. I knew that when I ate a lot of sugar or when I overindulged on pizza and buffalo wings on Sunday night with David, that it was affecting the way I felt on Monday and Tuesday. And it felt hopeless. I needed to unwind. I needed to relax and have fun. I wanted to enjoy a yummy, delicious, unnutritious meal with my partner once in a while. I liked having drinks with friends. Quite honestly, like my friends are one of the most important things to me in my life. And the thought of having to put boundaries up between them was something that I couldn't do. I was struggling so bad just getting out of bed and showing up to work and getting through the days that I couldn't do any more than what I was doing. I couldn't do any better. I knew I wanted to try to do better. I didn't want to die. I didn't want to harm myself. I didn't want to look back one day and find out that I had cancer and I did it to myself. So I was actually always honest with my doctors about my shortcomings. I would tell them that I smoked cigarettes, that I drank, that I smoked marijuana all the time. And it was because I was coping. And honestly, and looking back, my doctors had a lot more compassion for me than you would expect. Most of them said some version of, Matt, you're using these substances right now to get through a hard time, and you're hard enough on yourself as it is. I'm more worried about berating you than I am about you using these substances to cope right now. So I continued talking about it. My doctor, I went to go see him every 6 months, and he gave me a mental health assessment. And over time, while going to therapy, while continuing to exercise, getting deep into my yoga practice, going for walks, going for hikes, meditating, journaling, all of the things that I talked to you about, gratitude practice. Over time, the mental health assessment started to improve. My shame was dissipating enough for me to bring more people in. I was working with my coach, Ariel. I saw her every week. I felt very safe with Ariel. And finally, one day, I let her in to what was going on. I wanted help with my marijuana usage. I wanted help with the amount I was drinking. I wasn't smoking cigarettes anymore because I had given that up a while ago. But for a very long while, I felt too shameful to even bring it up to somebody who could help me. I thought I didn't deserve help. Ariel embraced me with very warm and open arms. She said, I have a feeling that over time, your dependency on substances and eating more than you like to and not taking such good care of yourself will dissipate as you continue to open up about it and be open, and as you continue to work on it, as you continue to just accept yourself, and as you continue to make small and gradual changes in your life. I wasn't happy with my life the way it was. Professionally, I was ready for a change. I wanted a bigger house. I wanted to live my full potential. I wanted to start a family. And as I've started to make changes, saying goodbye to situations that no longer were serving me, Ariel was right. I am treating myself a lot better than I ever have before. I take care of my body better because I feel better, because my life is in alignment. I have been looking for a really straight line connecting, I smoke pot because of this. And it's so much more complicated than that. There's no straight line. I'm definitely in a much healthier situation. I'm not reliant on alcohol the way I was, certainly not to numb. And I'm not smoking marijuana right now, hopefully for a long while, but I see why I was doing it. I slept very well. It calmed my very overactive mind. There were benefits of it. And what's changed is that I have new challenges in my life. I'm not complacent anymore. I am trying to accomplish massive things. I'm bringing you along. I want you to be proud. I want to do my best for you. And the more that I challenge myself, the more I align my life with what I'm supposed to be doing with it, the more content I am, the more happy I am, the more proud I am of myself. And like Ariel said, a lot of these dependencies have sort of just fallen away because I take better care of myself. I want to let you know today, there's a few things that I've learned on my journey that have absolutely changed the game. You might have caught a couple episodes ago, I talked about 3 practices that really have benefited me on my journey: journaling, gratitude practice, and meditation. They're all really attainable, and the results are far outweighing the investment. I have seen so much benefits come from journaling, gratitude practice, and meditation. Today, I want to talk to you about how I've learned to take better care of my body and what happens when I do take better care of my body. It's really important that we move our bodies. And I'm not sure if you've heard of a book called Atomic Habits, but it's one of the best books I've ever read. And it talks about how many of us try to make massive changes rather than starting with smaller, gradual changes. If you're not working out or exercising at all, what makes you think that a New Year's resolution is going to come along and you're just all of a sudden going to start working out 5 days a week? When it comes to movement or exercise, go slowly, do something you like. I love going for a walk. And yes, a walk isn't the same as going for a 10-mile hike or a gym session where you're lifting weights for 2 hours. But a walk is so much better than nothing. It helps our blood sugar regulate. It helps our mind. It helps our body feel better by moving around rather than sitting down all day. Don't underestimate the power of small, simple movements. I love doing yoga. This morning I was actually at a yoga class and I really thought about what yoga has done for me. There's the philosophical part of it, where just learning that people have been suffering for thousands of years, and it really puts things into perspective. But physically, it's taught me to be in my body. Our body has so much wisdom, and if you're like me, you might be spending too much time in your mind. I remember when I started on my healing journey and really leaned into yoga, and my yoga teacher was trying to help me get the energy and they call them chitta vrittis. It's like anxiety in the mind, crazy thoughts, getting those out of the mind and like grounding them into your body, getting the energy that's keeping my mind busy and moving it to my foot, moving it to my arm, moving it to my pelvis, anywhere. And I felt such a relief from that. Like I got all this anxiety out of my mind and moved it elsewhere in my body, and it really worked. And this morning during yoga, I was in downward dog and I noticed I had such an awareness of my body. My body was telling me actually that although I don't feel stressed out, my mind is in a really good place. I take very good care of my mind. My body is under stress right now. I'm not exactly sure why. In my prior episode, I just talked about this, but I'm going to therapy right now because I have a tight jaw. There's something going on that's making my body feel stressed. And doing yoga has helped me get into my body and leverage that wisdom to help guide me through my life. It's really interesting to me because I was so unathletic growing up. I hated sports. And now when I look at myself, I'm really more active than most people. I go for hikes because I love being in nature, and it's really good for my body. It's good for my heart rate to get elevated. It's good to use my legs to climb up a mountain. I love going for runs. They're very attainable. Some days I'm so busy, and even just going for a mile or a mile and a half run in 15 minutes helps me so much. It's so much better than nothing. I really like going to the gym and lifting weights as well. I've learned that lifting weights is really beneficial for a lot of reasons, but one, you're burning fat long after you stop lifting weights. Unlike cardio, when you're done doing cardio, the fat stops burning. I like being at the gym. I listen to my books, my podcasts, and I'm learning while at the gym. It's good for me to be challenging my body in different ways where, to be honest, a hike or going for a run, although they're challenging, going to the gym and lifting weights is challenging my body in a different way that feels good. Whatever you want to do, moving your body is really important, and it's helped me so much with my anxiety management. I see it now. My mind can be busy, and if I get outside and start moving around or go to the gym and start lifting weights or yoga, my mind stops being so busy. Second thing I want to talk about today is water. Don't underestimate the power of water. I drink so much water, and I respect it when people say they don't like it, but you kind of have to figure out how you're going to get your water in your body. It helps so much. One thing I found lately is I put fresh mint leaves in a jar, pour boiling water over it, put it in the fridge, and a few hours later, it is like the most refreshing drink ever. And it keeps me from snacking in the afternoon because it's so refreshing. I drink water in the morning when I wake up. Lemon water is supposed to be consumed 30 minutes before having coffee. When I'm drinking that lemon water, I can actually feel my anxiety from the night dissipate. I feel my blood start moving. I feel my breathing improve. I do drink coffee, don't get me wrong, but I try to keep it to a minimum. But don't underestimate the power of water. It helps us so much, and it prolongs your life. It helps your skin. It helps prevent aging. There is nothing bad about drinking water. Now let's move on to some of the less fun things. I'm 41 years old at the time of this recording, and I have to be honest. I notice when I am not eating nutritiously, I really feel it. On the weekends, I do overconsume. It's gotten a lot better. I generally don't go out to eat all that often, and it's not eating 5, 6 bad meals, but generally I do eat pizza. I eat cheeseburgers. I enjoy my life on the weekends, and honestly, the cheeseburgers and the pizza don't affect me too much, but I do notice the sugar. The older I'm getting, sugar is really affecting me. There's weekends that I don't drink at all, and there's weekends when I don't eat sugar at all. I honestly feel a little bit worse on a Monday after I've overconsumed sugar than I do if I overconsume alcohol. I just mention this because as we're getting older, our bodies need to be treated differently, and sugar is really, really bad for us. I'm not saying that I'm going to avoid it completely. I don't know, maybe I will actually. I'm starting to realize right now, and this is a lot through my journaling practice and just reflecting on my thoughts, going back and looking and seeing what's going on with me. And I spend a lot of time anguishing over how I feel physically and mentally. I don't really enjoy the way I feel on Monday after drinking too much or after I eat too bad. It's not necessarily that I have a hangover. It's really that my body just feels malnourished. It's just that I feel a little more anxious. My mind is a little bit more worried. My body's a little more tense. I don't sleep as well. I notice my breathing is compromised when I'm not taking care of my body, and I feel it the next morning. It feels like I've been gasping for air all night sometimes. I just mention this because I think so many of us forget how important it is to be mindful of the food that we're consuming. And what we could consume at 25 or 35 even, we may not be able to consume at 45 or 55. There's nothing wrong with it. Our goal in life is to feel good, and long-term happiness is important, inner peace. And learning to approach this shamelessly and talk to you about it, talk to my friends about it, it's really helped me. We're all struggling with this. We all want to feel good. We all want to take good care of ourselves, and we're all going to continue to be a little bit less than perfect. The goal is to just keep working on it, to keep showing up. I want to talk about alcohol. I found alcohol when I was a teenager, and I relied on it to fit in. Through college, I drank a lot of alcohol, and then through my 20s, moving to New York, alcohol was very normal to drink, and I still enjoy drinking alcohol. I am very mindful of it because I know it's not good for us. There are a lot of studies that are coming out right now. I'm not sure if you've seen them, but talking about just really that alcohol is not good for us. I think there's been a lot of talk like, oh, red wine is good for your heart. And they've said things like you would have to drink so much red wine to really get the health benefits from doing so. As of now, I am more about moderation when it comes to alcohol than I am about giving up alcohol completely. I do enjoy it. I do love a glass of red wine, or even 2 or 3 sometimes. But I've noticed that my ability to sleep well when I drink is absolutely diminished. I do know that after overindulging on a weekend or on a vacation, the next couple of days, I'm just a bit lower than I used to be. I don't really get a headache from it. I drink tons of water, so I think that could be part of it. But I just want to bring awareness to this, that like it's something that I have noticed that has substantially contributed to my anxiety. Doctors were telling me all along that it was important for me to be careful of it because it wasn't helping my anxiety. And I have learned to just open up about this, and it's helped me so much to just realize that none of us are perfect, and I'm going to continue to try to improve, but I might not be perfect. And finally, it's really not good to be smoking things. I gave up cigarettes a long time ago, and it is something that I am really proud of myself for doing. I have been smoking marijuana for quite some time. It's helped me sleep. It's definitely helped calm my nerves. And lately I've decided to give it up for a length of time. And it's been about 6 weeks since I've had any, and it's going really well. I'm pretty surprised about it. I would like to have some one day. It would be nice to have at the end of a stressful day to sleep well. But, I'm doing it. And I think it's really a testament to when you set a rule, when you set your mind to something, it's really incredible what you can achieve. So I hope this episode has helped you a bit. I'm really just vulnerably trying to let you into what I struggle with my health, with taking care of myself. Everything has changed with me opening up about it and just allowing myself to be imperfect. When we survive trauma, we have this need to be perfect, to control what others think about us. We're afraid to ask for help. We're afraid to disappoint ourselves and others. And this has been a huge testament to my healing. And it's really allowed for so much freedom The fact that I've learned to be imperfect and to ask for help and to be in front of all of you. I never would have thought 6 months ago I'd be posting an episode like this, letting you into some of the vulnerabilities and things that I'm shameful about. But the more that I talk about this, the more that I share with others, I hope that I'm just letting you see that it's normal, that we're all struggling with this. I want to leave you with this. If you feel shameful at all for not taking superb care about yourself, you're in good company. Most of us are in the same boat. Talking to a coach, a therapist, anybody is going to help. We're all just trying to play this game called life, and none of us are doing it perfectly. If you're a high performer, you might be using this to cope. You might be overeating and overdrinking to cope. I get it. It's stressful. Life is stressful. I want you to know that I'm here for you. If you want to talk about coaching, I work one-on-one with high performers and provide elite coaching. If there's big changes in your life you're looking to make, I'm here to support you. Don't be shy to reach out, and I thank you for following me. If you could click the subscribe button and leave a comment, I'd be so grateful, and I'll catch you next time.